I'm about to be pretty unfair to Club Drive. This is a game that some Jaguar fans are passionate about. And don't worry there, I'm not about to say that this is a terrible game that nobody should like. But I get the impression that this was designed as a multiplayer experience first, and then they stapled a very primitive single-player mode on top of that. I didn't have anyone to play Club Drive with, so I was not getting the intended experience. So when I'm playing Club Drive, I want you to imagine the screen split in half, and somebody else doing the same stuff alongside me. Club Drive is a fully polygonal racing game. It was not the first game to do this, and it wasn't even the first Atari game to do this. Atari was a front-runner for 3D graphics, going all the way back to Battlezone and its wireframes. Figuring out where all the vertices for polygons had to go was a good trick for 1980, but before the decade was over, another Atari took it even further. Not the Atari that made the Jaguar, the other Atari. In 1989, they created Hard Drivin', which ranked among the most expensive arcade games ever produced. Rendering all of these polygons, even at that low frame rate, required some seriously beefy computer hardware under the hood in 1989. Despite that, the game was a big success because there was nothing else quite like it. It was a game that leaned into simulation rather than arcade action. You can kind of understand why Atari Corporation, that's the Jaguar Atari, wound up copying Atari games, that's the Hard Drivin' Atari. There was a kind of successful formula right there in front of them. It gives you a car, a world, a driving model intended to feel realistic, and then tells you, okay, get to it. That driving model is both the greatest strength and greatest weakness of Club Drive. The nondescript car that you drive isn't especially fast, but it handles jumps exactly like a real car would. You won't be getting enormous airtime with this one. And traction on different surfaces matters a lot. You will take corners too fast and spin out. Any more than any other console game to this point, when you're just cruising around, Club Drive feels like you're driving a car. However, there is no damage modeling here. You can collide with something at full speed and then just back away. And rather than let you flip upside down and crash, Club Drive will turtle you back onto your tires. If that wasn't enough, there's also a rewind feature that will trigger automatically if you get stuck hard enough, or you can trigger it manually by pressing Option. Club Drive is a game that doesn't allow failure, and I think that's a design choice that bumps hard into the simulation aspect of it. You get a simulator because you want it to feel real, and part of being realistic is when those things go wrong. If they just had the rewind function, I think it would have been fine. That would be restoring your car at the cost of some additional time. But to just let you continue on like nothing happened breaks the simulation. It's the core feature of Club Drive, and they undercut it. Club Drive offers 3 different ways to play. You can race to collect Powerballs, you can just race, or you and a friend can play tag with cars. You can play the Powerball and racing modes on your own, but you have to have another human player for tag. You can configure all of these modes from the main menu, as well as select what color car you'll drive. When you pick the world, you get your choice of 4 different regions, but there's actually 8 maps in the game. Tag and Powerball use small arena maps, while Race uses much larger worlds. For Powerball, you drive around and try to run into the weird pulsating sphere. When you set up the match, you pick how many Powerballs you have to touch, and that's all there is to this one. The San Francisco Powerball map is a 2-level parking garage with a big hole on the upper floor that you can drive through. There are ramps on opposite sides, and that's it. It is a barren, empty area. Slightly better is the western town, but it's one street with a handful of buildings, and you just do laps around the outside as you collect those Powerballs. One step up from that is Jerome's Pad, which has a TV set in it that shows your car, or they could be playing Pong on it if you're playing 2 players. There's also a few more obstacles around the room, to give you something to do. Velocity Park is probably the most interesting map, even though the Powerballs don't appear anyplace interesting. It's a stunt park with a lot of different things for you to play with. Unfortunately, the Powerballs mainly appear at the side of the arena, which just means you're driving back and forth past all the cool stuff. When you collect the required total of Powerballs, then you get a rating based on how fast you were, and that's it, back to the main menu. Powerball is the default mode for the game, and that's a shame because the racing is so much better. When you race, you choose how many laps you're going to do, and these aren't regular laps. There's not a planned out circuit. Well, most of the time there's not a planned out circuit. Instead, there's a starting line and a finish line, and every lap is going from one of those to the other. Most of the maps are pretty open to how you want to approach them. Things split apart and then come back together for bottlenecks. Which way is the fastest to go is not immediately apparent. Now, I don't think it would take you more than 4 or 5 races to get a pretty good route down, but there's still flexibility for you. Jerome's pad opens up to be the entire house. The doors open and close to shut off paths, and there's even animals running around. Jerome's cat is not doing its job. The San Francisco map is my favorite of the races. It starts at the Golden Gate Bridge, crosses over to a small block of the hilly city, and then goes out onto the California Coast Highway. Yeah, it's all very, very, very scaled down, but it still conveys a lot of flavor. Velocity Park, on the other hand, is the worst of the race maps. So the worst arena map gets the best race map, and the best arena map gets the worst race map. Here you're locked into a Hot Wheels track. And more annoyingly, the finish line is placed about 1/4 of the track away from the starting line. If you go forward, you'll go the long way around, so just turn around and complete the race much faster. It's a badly designed track that doesn't work as a race. Fortunately, the Old West track is much better since you start in one town, then drive through a canyon that has a cave system, and there are jumps if you take certain paths. Then the whole thing comes back together at the end for another town. There's also a hidden door in one of the caves that takes you to Atari headquarters. There's nothing to do there except drive around the building, but still, it's a cute little Easter egg. I feel like Club Drive would really benefit from some analog controls. The Jaguar's digital D-pad makes turning a little bit jerky, and when you're trying to be a simulation, that becomes a problem. Also, reversing is on button C, rather than being part of the brakes. It's fine, it's just a little clunky. The number pad is used to adjust camera angles, and you're probably only going to want to stick to the in-the-car view or the just behind-the-car view. Still, it's nice that they have the options. Club Drive really feels like a proof of concept that got released as a full game. There's the outline of some good approaches here. Maybe if they had planned out proper circuits for the races, or gave the cars in the arena games proper AI, and had more than just one of them. Even if the game was limited to 2 players, if there were 4 cars everywhere, that would up the action a lot. And I feel like with a bit more development time, they could have made the environments feel more natural. In the end, I don't think Club Drive is a very good game, but it is one where I can see the potential in it.